My first question is,
ooh, that's not fair. Dude, everybody lies. Whether it's a white lie or a big lie or a lying by omission, humans lie. The question is, in what manner did you catch them lying? Because time is more valuable than money. You can always make more money, but you can never get the time back.
okay, are there any other businesses you're interested in starting?
When we got into business, we started and I was like, I do not want to be a Starbucks knockoff. I want to do my own thing. I can't answer that. If there's one thing that I would change about myself, I didn't do that in the first 5 years and I burn it all down. Like every bit of my effort that was exhausted in the first 5 years, I had to start all over again. Okay, so this is Documenting the Journey, Chapter 2, Interview 1. Hi, Katie.
Hello.
Okay, so you've got 10 questions. I have no clue what you're going to ask, but you can ask anything. So
you want me to start firing away?
Absolutely. Just start firing away and we'll go with it.
Okay. So my first question is, if you could change one thing about this business, what would it be?
Ooh, that's not fair. It's not fair just because if I could change one thing about this business, man, I just don't even know that I don't know that there's one. The thing is, I accepted that, like people say, well, death and taxes are the most certain thing in the world. Well, the most certain thing in the world is change. So I embrace change. So when you say, what's the one thing? I'm like, I've changed that one thing 100 different times because building processes, the evolution of it is you build a process, squeaky wheel, build a process, squeaky wheel, build a process. You build all of your processes. One of those processes is now the new squeaky wheel. So you tear it down and you rebuild that process. And that is the evolution of development of systems and processes, is build them and then continually tear them down and rebuild them. So when you say, what's the one thing that I would change? I'm like, this entire 20-year journey has been going through and looking at everything and changing everything to get to a better level of consistency and duplication, to get to an easier way of actually training. I can't answer that. If there's one thing that I would change about myself, I would have engulfed myself in that learning journey that I've been on the last 10 years. I would have been on that journey the last 20 and 30 years because I would have been able to move the business further faster. It kind of took me some time of taking lumps and making mistakes and feeling the pain of that, and then getting to that feeling like the definition of insanity, where I realized I continue to beat my head against this wall and the different result that I'm expecting is never going to come. So maybe I need to change something so that I can actually get a better result. And it took me many years of pain and failure to where I started looking at, oh, there's got to be a new, better way. So no, the one thing is many things, and that is the beauty of it, is that we've all had a hand in finding something that's wrong, knowing that we can make it better, and collaborating and making the changes to make them better. So
my second question kind of goes with that too. So knowing what you know now, is there anything you wish you would have done different at the start?
Everything. Okay. But the thing is small business is people dependent. Mm-hmm. Big business is systems dependent. I didn't start getting serious about writing processes and systems for everybody to train off of and duplicate until we were 5, 6, 7, 8 years in. So part of that definition of insanity is, for the first 5 years, I was people dependent, meaning I would train somebody and then I would move on to the next task. And then they would train somebody and there would be a little bit of lost in translation. And then we would lose that person. And then the new person that didn't get the full information out of me would then train somebody. And then that person would train somebody. And because I didn't have a system and process for them to follow, we ended up screwing it up when it come to the consistency of the product, where I was never able to truly build the customer base we have now. I wasn't able to do that in the first 5 or 10 years because I didn't have a system of training for consistent duplication of a product, of creating an expectation and always meeting that expectation. If I could do something different from day one, every time I figured out this is the way that I want it, I would have documented, I would have written a system and a process to say, this is the recipe, this is the construction and description, this is the training for how you go about getting from all of your base products to the end product that you're going to deliver to a customer. I didn't do that in the first 5 years, and I burn it all down. Like, every bit of my effort that was exhausted in the first 5 years, I had to start all over again, because I built a business that was dependent on people just doing what came out of my mouth. I didn't document anything. There was nothing to build on. It was a house of cards that came tumbling down because I did not concentrate on systems development from day one.
Okay. My next question is, what is your favorite motto in life?
That's not, I mean, a favorite motto in life. I have a saying, I might not always win, but it's never smart to bet against me. I have those competitive juices, but I don't feel the need to compete with other people or prove anything to other people. It's just, I'm competing with my yesterday self. So many mottos in life in general, waste kills all. I know, I get mocked about it, but it is wasted thoughts, it is wasted steps, wasted time in relationships that are going nowhere. I mean, do I directly have a motto in life? No, but I have become very introspective, where I know who I am and I know what's most important to me. And I very much, above all else, care about where I direct my time and attention. Because time is more valuable than money. You can always make more money, but you can never get the time back.
That would be a good motto. Okay. What is the best advice you have ever gotten?
The best advice that I have ever gotten.
I guess it doesn't have to be the best. Like, I guess that's,
you know what,
the advice that stuck with you most.
No, I'm gonna let me. I don't know if I can give you the best advice that I've ever gotten, but I'll give you the truest. And I did a podcast about it. Everybody leaves and everybody lies. It was a major realization that because I am so big about loyalty and trust and respect, that if I caught somebody in a white lie, it was like a total violation of trust. And then I'm talking to my business coach, and he like proverbially slaps me upside the head, and he's like, dude, everybody lies. Like, whether it's a white lie or a big lie or a lying by omission, humans lie. The question is, in what manner did you catch them lying? Is it a lie that is capable of being corrected? How much damage did it do? What was the circumstances of the situation? So quit being so overly offended. People lie, even if they're lying by omission. So quit putting that as a prereq that you won't have a relationship with somebody if you catch them in a lie, because everybody lies one way or another. So then it became the spectrum of how big is the lie, how much damage did it do? And the second part of that is that relationships, there's a lot to do with seasonality of relationships. And I really do look at it and say, when people are put into your life, they might only be for minutes or moments, but there's a reason somebody was put into your life. The likelihood that you will be fortunate enough to have any one person that is in your life for the entire longevity of your life is about this big. When you look at just the divorce rates, where over 50% of people divorce, I mean, like, you're bonding and marrying for life, but are you? Well, over half the time, you're not. So the point being, embracing those relationships and understanding that even if you are heartbroken by the end of those relationships, what's the memory of it? Well, I personally remember all the good things and all the good times and all of the lessons that I learned. And I consider myself fortunate to have had the relationship for the time that I have the relationship. But about the time that I expect that all relationships should be for a forever duration, all I'm doing is setting an expectation that's unrealistic, and I'm setting myself up to be disappointed. Everybody leaves and everybody lies, and it's just a question of how big is the lie and how long is the duration of the relationship. And I've had to look at it like that because over the last 20 years, I've employed somewhere around 400 people, and there is 50 of them that, like, I truly wanted a lifelong, I hope we're sitting across the table from each other in 30 years. Well, I'm employing a little over 70 people, and I promise you, 50 of the 70 don't fit into the category of what I just said. Appreciate relationships for what they are in the moment of what they are, and two people come together and they either grow together or they grow apart, but nothing ever stays the same. So appreciate it for what it is, and when it diminishes or goes south or breaks off, it is what it is. That's just part of life.
Okay. Who is your biggest hero, personal and business?
Ooh. My biggest hero, personal and business. Personally, I'll never get him on camera. His name is Mick Owens. He's been a mentor. He's been a father figure. His example of how he has done business and what is right and wrong and what is high character has shaped my life. Do I call him a hero? No, but he has been a mentor, and he has been the standard bearer for what I aspire to and how I want to live up to his standards and the life that I want to live. Who would be my hero? I don't have one when it comes to
business.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have many people that I have let influence me. Like many. I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, it wouldn't even be fair. Because I'm just sitting there, Andy Frisella, Brad Lee, Ed Milet, my business coach, Dave Melcher. Like, I could run the list of how many people that I've opened myself up to letting them and their perspective influence me, and me studying their journey to try and learn the lessons that they're offering and the mistakes that they've made because they've been so forthcoming with them. But do I have any of them that I put on a pedestal and idolize as a hero? Nope. They bleed just like me. They put their pants on just like me. So no, I don't. I can't say as I have a hero.
Okay.
That's yeah.
If you were to go international, where would it be?
I instinctively I want to say Dubai. Just because it is literally turning into that shiny city that is a beacon of just how big and beautiful something can be when you take all of the technology and everything that we've learned and start building something from scratch. I watched a time lapse of a 30-year going from a desert nothing to what Dubai has become. Very impressive. They've got a lot of cool things like that going on over there. the whole point of going international would be to go many places, but when I'm answering that question from a business perspective, because there is the average car on the road in Dubai is a Lamborghini, which means there's a lot of money there. So where there's a lot of money, there's a lot of business opportunity, there's a lot of growth. So that's where I come at it from that business perspective.
Okay. What do you think your best quality as a boss is?
I think my best quality is that I am able to remove me from a situation and put myself in the other person's shoes to understand where they're coming from. Some people would refer that to empathy, but I don't view it as empathy. If you cannot, a group of people come together with different perspectives and, quite frankly, different motives. But if you truly want to get from A to B as expediently as possible and with as much progress as possible, you have to understand the perspective and where everybody is coming from. And I have the ability to say, okay, I know where I'm coming at from this, but I'm going to put myself in your shoes and see it through your eyes so I understand how you're coming at it. And I can repetitiously do that with virtually anybody that I'm interacting with so that I can understand the perspective and the motive to get to the best place. And I look at it as a tool that I use for how do I get from A to B fast.
Okay. Are there any other businesses you're interested in starting?
No. I tried that. And here's the thing, is that when you get into business, the new and exciting, just like in a relationship, wears off. And the problem and the mistake most business owners make is that the fact is successful business is boring, but boring is what fills up the bank accounts. Excitement is starting something new. Starting something new costs a tremendous amount of time and money and focus and attention, and then it takes your time, money, focus, and attention off of what is actually filling up the bank accounts. And what did I do? I went out and bought a couple businesses to make a small business ecosystem. What has that done? That has slowed down the development and growth of Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies. Am I interested in buying another business? No, absolutely not. I am interested in duplicating Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies because I know it well. One of the easiest industries to get into is the food and beverage. One of the hardest industries to master is food and beverage. So I'm like, no, I know it well, and all I want to do is open up as many Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies as I can, because every time I've chased that shiny thing and that excitement of something new, it has not made me money, it's cost me money, and it's directed my focus away from developing the opportunities for you and for everybody else. And at the end of the day, I'm like, Coffee Junkies and Pizza Junkies is my legacy. Not that I'm overly personally concerned with the legacy, but it is about the people that come on to help grow this want to know that they have personal growth and that we are continually developing opportunities inside of the business. And you will not continually develop opportunities for everybody else supporting you if you're always getting into new things. You have got to scale something, and that's what develops those opportunities for you and everybody else.
Okay. When do you want to retire?
Now. I want to retire now and never. And what I'm saying is, I value my time more than anything. So I remember in the very beginning where it wasn't even about what I wanted to do or didn't want to do. What I liked and didn't like, I had to do it all. And over time, I progressed and hired people for the things that I recognized that I wasn't good at, so that I could get somebody better doing it. And then as we progressed, then it was hire people to do things that I didn't like to do so that I could just do what I like to do. And then it was okay, these people are now doing it better than me. I need to transition into the role of being an orchestrator and a coach because they are doing it better than I am because they're able to focus on that piece in general. I want to, quote unquote, retire because the weight and the responsibility is immense. But at the same, I never want to retire because I think too many people have poo-pooed the word work. And work is physically moving your body, mentally using your mind. And when you stop using those things, you're on the path to deterioration and dying. And I don't know. Quality of life is more important than life itself, and time is something that you can never get back. So I'm at that stage where I'm not 50 yet, but I'm getting close, and I want the freedom to be able to do the things that I want to do and know that I provided an opportunity that everybody is able to move this ball forward, and I have a smaller role to play in that evolution, which allows me to go into retirement and come out of retirement, and go into retirement and come out of retirement. Because everybody goes through those moods and modes. Mm-hmm. And I went through 20 years where we couldn't talk about retirement. I couldn't even talk about a vacation. So now I'm like, okay, no. Well, now I would like to be able to talk about some extended vacations and what some people would look at as partially retired. But as soon as those juices come back and I've got something to contribute, I want to be able to step back in and contribute. And as soon as everybody else's plate is full and I've contributed and they have work to do, well, then I want to be able to step out and enjoy some of the fruits of the labor. So now and never.
Okay, that's a good answer. Okay, I have one more of my 10. If you hadn't had your cup of coffee, could I still speak to you?
You could, but it probably wouldn't go well. Okay. I'm honest about this. Like, I am a second shifter at heart. My circadian rhythm has been set at a second shift my entire life. I'm not good with mornings. I started my day with a 44-ounce Diet Coke when I was younger because I didn't know anything about coffee, but I wanted caffeine to wake up and become alert. And I am start my day with 3 cups, and anybody that interacts with me before I've had my 3 cups is generally like, I know better. Next time, I'll wait for him to have his 3 cups.
I think I've learned that lesson once.
And it's not that I go out of my way to be like that. It's just that, I described it and said, I start my day with my empathy meter full. Mm-hmm. And the more people I interact with, the more that meter drains down. And then I get to the end of the day where that meter is empty. And then sometimes people get something out of me that I got to come back later on and be like, hey, didn't mean for it to come out that way. Well, I think those 3 cups are probably filling up that empathy meter so that I can start my day interacting with people. And if I interact with people before I've started the day the way I want to start the day, then sometimes it doesn't go well. Okay. But I'm honest about it.
Okay, and then a product question. What was your inspiration for the frozen zebra and the frozen gorilla?
I don't want to answer the frozen gorilla just because it sticks in my mind that the frozen gorilla might actually been a Chris contribution from Sycamore, that it was kind of spawned off of the zebra. The frozen zebra was created off of a mistake, and I fired the girl. When we got into business, we started, and I was like, I do not want to be a Starbucks knockoff. I want to do my own thing. So we separated, and we had lattes and we had mochas. Lattes were vanilla-based with white milk, and mochas were chocolate-based with chocolate milk. So when we had a frozen latte, it was the latte mix with white milk. And one of the girls decided on her own that she didn't like that she liked the latte mix with chocolate milk. So she took it upon herself to change the recipe without saying anything to anybody and start serving what she thought was the better product. Once I found out, I fired her. Because obviously, you can't put something on a menu and tell somebody what it is, and then literally have a sneaky employee going behind your back and changing up the recipe. And not only did she not run it by me, she purposely didn't tell anybody. She just did what she wanted to do, and that was unacceptable. After that, we looked at it and was like, okay, open mind. Did she find something? And once we started dissecting it, she didn't find something, but she was on to something. Mm-hmm. Because the frozen zebra ended up becoming a mixture of vanilla, caramel, and chocolate, topped with whipped cream and chocolate zebra stripes. So at the end of the day, it was like a consummate tester, and I'm willing to look at even mistakes and say, is there something that can actually come out of that mistake? But yes, the frozen zebra was, I don't even want to call it, well, it was a mistake on her part, but it was jeopardizing business on my part. And out of that, she did not keep employment, but we did take that and stumble across our way to what is now our most frozen coffee beverage, which is a mixture of vanilla, caramel, and chocolate.
Okay, and then my brand's question is, what made you decide to start the Julius Files podcast?
It's I think people glamorize and fantasize and romanticize entrepreneurship, and the reality of entrepreneurship is a stark contrast from what people dream up in their head. People think that entrepreneurship is the same thing as hitting the lottery, and it's polar opposite. It couldn't be further from the truth. Hitting the lottery is you're just given a boatload of money so that you can go blow it and end up broke on the other end because you never learned anything, but it's a wild ride while you're spending the money. Starting a business is an extreme amount of work with no guaranteed path to success, but definitely a guarantee to making sacrifice and finding out how much pain you can endure as you're going through the process. So I started my podcast because I wanted to actually put that perspective out there about what is the real truth of entrepreneurship and where do small businesses make mistakes from my perspective of what I see small businesses. I mean, small business is small business because they stay small. They don't progress into medium and grow into big businesses because they're not willing to personally grow to take the necessary steps, make the changes to continue to grow and evolve. So it was kind of a, hey, everybody has their own opinions and they're putting out their own perspective, and I just felt like mine was no less relevant. And secretly, deep down, I also hoped at some point that it would be some type of documentation that, best case scenario, my child was able to go back to and reference to learn a little bit more about his father. At worst case scenario, anybody in the world is able to access that to at least gain a little bit of perspective from somebody that, if nothing else, like, I'm not fake. You're not going to call me fake. So if you listen to my podcast, you're at least getting real perspective, and then you take away from it and compare it up against what everybody else is saying, and you try and find your own truth and make your own decisions in your own life's journey.
That's all I got. That's all I got here.
Well, then that leads to the two questions that you had to agree to in order to do this.
Yes.
So, but I want to start off with with an easy question. Katie, how long have you worked for me?
It'll be 2 years in April 6th.
Okay, which leads to the question, why do you work for me? Because at the end of the day, you can go work anywhere.
Right.
You have chosen to work for me, so that's the...
So there's kind of a backstory. So I had a job and I was very unhappy at a big, I won't say the name, it just wasn't personable there. It was just a job. It was just going in, doing the motions, leaving. I was on a lunch break. I seen this place was hiring. I took my chance, and once I got in here, it's completely different than anywhere I've ever worked. Very personal. There's a lot of encouragement for growth here, and working here has made a huge difference in my life. I guess I've never worked for someone that's encouraging you to do better every day, or to grow every day, or is your cheerleader. So yeah.
No, and
that's why I enjoy working here.
Technically, I think more people should be like me, because I think I have a healthy perspective on life. Mm-hmm. But I can't force anybody to live their life. I'm just going to live my life, and that's the example of. And yes, always encouraging personal development and growth, because it leads to, if nothing else, more mental stability, but quality of life is more important than life itself. So give me one reason why people should try Coffee Junkiez and Pizza Junkiez.
Well, obviously supporting local business. And I feel like if they knew more of the owner of this business, and that there's a lot of pride taken in products that we make, and we like to make, quality products for people, and you employ people who have those same beliefs. So that's why I think people should patronize us.
Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you.
All right.
That wasn't horrible.
No, it was not. It was not, and it wasn't supposed to be.
No.
But okay. Until next time and the next interview. This would be interview 1 of chapter 2 of documenting the journey.
Yay. Okay.
Thank you.